Well, hello losers, it's been a while. So have you seen my last video, and my first video? You're probably like, oh, is Dori so bad that she killed you and you just disappeared for a while? Honestly, like, what is Yai looking at? Anyway, forgetting that, so I actually did go through with building Dori. I actually took the time to go through and level her up and farm for her, so yay! So when it comes to her build, I didn't go for like a full HP build, and you'll see why later. I went for half HP healer and lots of energy recharge. Now originally I was going to put her on Noblesse, but then Fontaine came out, and with it came Song of Days Past. Now we're just going to ignore the fact that I've had her built for almost a year, and now all of her artifacts are leveled. I even took time to get like really close to crowning her burst. And I'm a little shocked that I didn't crown it because I thought I did. But when it comes to her talents, you really want to focus on her burst and really only her burst. Anyway, after the smooth transition jump scare, this is basically me just trying to show you that she heals pretty well and she's really good when it comes to energy recharge, like keeping up her burst. I also tried to show her like energy thing that she's got going on where she gives energy to the active character, but it's kind of hard to showcase when you're trying to die because you suck at dodging. Okay, so after totally on purpose, like hurting Tainari, I can actually show you how much she heals. Now you do want to keep in mind that my Dori is indeed C6, which does affect her healing, but I will go more into detail on that in just a little bit. Again, this is just a HP ER build. It's not fully HP, it's just, a general build that you would probably want to have on Dori. I also showcase my artifacts here, and they're not the greatest in the world. Like, the only good rolls on most of them are actually ER, which is why she has a decent amount of ER. But even if you don't get good ER rolls, you should be able to have enough energy recharge just with an ER weapon and also an ER Sands. When it comes to constellations, the only two that I can really think of is her C4 and her C6. CT is also nice for some extra electro application, but I will get into that later. Oh no. What happened to Tenari? Anyway, so this is going to be me showcasing her C6 and basically just what it does. So after using her skill, she will gain Electro Infusion, and whenever you hit opponents with her normal attacks, she will heal a certain percentage of her max HP to all party members. Now, my biggest issue with this is that it only lasts for 3 seconds. And usually those 3 seconds I'm using to run up to the enemy. So by the time I get there, the infusion is gone, which you can actually see in the clips that I have here. As I would say that it is really nice in the Abyss, especially when one of your characters is really low on health and you're a little scared to get them out because they might get hit and die. So it's really nice to have healing from her that isn't on field, so that way you don't have to take the risk of them possibly dying just to take a little bit of time to heal. Okay, so after scraping the bottom of the barrel, I managed to think of a team that would showcase a possible way that you could use her. Now this is basically just a Hyper Boon team with the addition of Frina and Yelan specifically for ER needs that they have, and also for Farina's HP drain to really show, the good old healing from good old Dori. The reason I'm really showing my Yelan build is to show you that she is not built on ER, and she does indeed have quite a few struggles with ER. Also, there's my, Farina, who I purposefully nerfed for this. Now, the only thing really relevant with Farina's constellations is actually her C2, and this is mostly because C1 and C2 together really help with fanfare. So that would obviously kind of make Dori look better. But I do want to mention that she is indeed C6, and because of the addition of those two constellations, there's going to be a lot more fanfare conversion from Dori. So you do want to keep that in mind. And like I originally had her on Favonius because like Favonius is just a really good weapon in general, but I decided to put her on a non-ER weapon to, really show off that Dori energy. You can actually see Dori is actually helping a lot with Aelon's burst with the addition of Farina, and I can't believe Farina is doing much because she does not have that much energy recharge. I didn't even use Farina's burst in the showcase, and you can tell that Dori is actually keeping the team relatively healthy. Transition jump scare. Anyway, this time I actually did use Farina's burst. Here I'm not really trying to show the whole fanfare thing because again, C2, but I am trying to show that you can technically use her as an on-field driver, but she has one fatal flaw when it comes to that. Actually, two fatal flaws I can think of. One being the whole 3-second thing, and the other thing being the fact that she's a Claymore user, so her attacks are very short and clunky. So it doesn't feel smooth, and most of the time she's not even hitting something unless it's like right next to her. Now, Yelan does allow Dori to be used on the field with the addition of course, Nahida and Xingqiu, Farina, other off-field characters like that. But the thing is like with Song of Days Past particularly, it is a better 4-piece option than Noblesse for especially like HP scaling characters or even defense. But in order to actually use the 4-piece passive, the character needs to be on field. So with a team like this, you would probably want Yelan on field instead of Dori. Well, you're definitely going to want Yelan on field instead of Dori because of how clunky Dori is. So now for the biggest question. Why isn't Dori popular? Why is she just never used? Well, there are many reasons why Dori isn't popular and just isn't used by really anybody that I can think of. But the main reason I would say is actually the existence of a character that came up before her, Cookie. Also ignore the fact that she doesn't have her artifacts for some reason. Even I didn't know why she didn't have her full set. Now, Cookie's basically just the anti-Dori. She is better than Dori in many ways, and the main thing is actually her EM scaling when compared to Dori. It just makes her not just, a healer that's good, but it also allows her to heal well while still doing really good Hyper Bloom damage. Cookie also just has better electro application than Dori does with her skill. And because it's her skill, it's not energy logged, which means that, within a certain time period, the cooldown, you can just refresh it again. And her C2 makes this very comfortable and more practical because it makes her skill last longer, so you have permanent uptime. Dori isn't the worst character, but I will say that overall, when compared to other characters, especially healers, especially Cookie, she's just not really worth building. She's mostly just one of those characters that you would build specifically because you like her. And if you are one of those people, you could build her to use with a electro character that requires a lot of energy, like Yai. I personally used her in my Tighnari team for two main reasons, being an additional buffer for Tighnari while also healing at the same time, and some energy for Yaimiko. And as you can probably tell from my character list, I do not own Zhongli, and even if I did pull him, I would probably not replace Dori in my team. Now, let's recap just a little bit. Song of Days Past actually turns a lot of healers into decent buffers. One that I can think off the top of my head that isn't Dori is actually Chi-Chi. This set basically just converts healing into damage for the active character, which is why it works so well on characters like Dori and Chi-Chi. And it actually allows them to provide more for their team than just healing. When it comes to her talents, this is actually kind of where she excels when it comes to resources, because you only really want to focus on her burst. Her skill and normal attack don't really do much. Her A1 passive kind of looks better than it is, but I can guarantee you that she's probably rarely going to be triggering any of those reactions. And her other passive is basically just where all the energy recharge thing comes from, because it just allows her to give more energy to the active character. But we can ignore all that healer stuff. This is the proper way to use Dori. Like, literally the best DPS in the game. Why is that the home usher in my